I don't know if this is what we've been waiting for, but this is from an hour ago. Globe and Mail. Grandmother of Jack and Lily Sullivan calls for public inquiry into children's disappearance. That's, of course, Linda. No, sorry, Belinda. Belinda Gray. And she is, this is his picture of her sitting, looking at Jack and Lily's pictures. She is the, I want to say, only advocate for the kids, even though Malaya's grandmother didn't want to leave the property that night, has always been helpful, but in my opinion, also been more or less an enabler to the one who took advantage of everybody, who was Daniel Martell. He took advantage of the children. He took money for them. Did he spend a lot on them? I doubt it. I think that he had very expensive hobbies, and eventually everything ran dry. He was not able to even remember to file his taxes. Jeez, man, he's getting free money for the government from the government, but he cannot keep track of anything in his life. He is a chaotic person, chaotic Daniel. So why does he keep making appearances? Why does he keep showing up? Why does he talk and talk and talk? Because that's who he is. We've seen it from day one. But he doesn't understand how to handle people from walks of life aside from his very own walk of life. We saw how Earl Martell, his father, handled the situation with Tint, and we can get an idea who these people are. We see Janie, we see Logan, all of these people. There's something really wrong with them. And it is a commonality. I don't believe too much. Well, genetics is one thing, but I believe that they all have a certain way of, um, you know, problem solving is probably the wrong term because they're actually making their problems worse. But let's see what this guy wrote, and I doubt he's as good as the lady who wrote the previous one. But let's see, Darren Calabrese. Belinda Gray, the paternal grandmother, okay, the grandmother of Jack and Lily. Belinda Gray, the children's paternal grandmother, says the Child Protection Service need to lift the veil of secrecy around absolutely. And I said it before, Belinda, you should sue them. And you need to sue them, and you need to do so to the maximum. Because in my opinion, if anybody, right, I mean, the teachers, as school teachers, they did what they were supposed to do, and they can also not overstep their own boundaries, right? These people, these school teachers, they know where to report something, and then it's out of their hands. So you're not supposed to be a vigilante for anybody, and you're supposed to trust that the arms of the government just protect the children, but that's unfortunately not how it's happening. And as we can see, there have been ongoing problems, very big problems. And I'm pretty sure Malaya covered up things. I'm sure Malaya was the one reason that they let Daniel go. I believe Malaya is not only guilty of neglect, I think she is guilty of cover up, period. She is guilty of the cover up of the permanent, constant abuse that was getting worse and worse and worse and worse, escalating to, in my opinion, the murder. In my opinion. Okay, everybody's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. So help me God, or something like that. And it's my opinion, or as I would like to put it, it's my thought. Opinions can be baseless, opinions can be professional. Well, I apply my thoughts to everything. And that is why I feel like I need to elevate the term, because I expect no less from myself, and I expect no less from people who comment on my channel, which is why my channel has the best commenting section of all the channels that I'm aware of. This video will be removed soon, or maybe the video before will be removed into the private section, because I want to keep this a little bit lighter. It seems that channels that just say, "Oh, this guy, check, he's lying, he's lying, he's lying," it seems to work a lot better and draw more people in. So I want to make sure that with all of the effort I'm putting in, I don't reach the wrong persons, and I don't have to remove stupid comments that come from people that have just by accident found me and consider my channel to be like an option in a pool full of garbage, right? No, if you find a great channel, stick to those. But never allow yourself, because you're bored or you need a distraction from your life, that you expose yourself to misinformation or disinformation. If you have a problem with finding what to, well, look at my comment section. That's all I'm going to say. And the comment section in my member section is going to be much better, and it's going to be private. It's going to be, of course, more moderated, or it's going to be more, how can I say it? Just because somebody pays a membership fee, if they do, what gets done a lot of times, just look on Facebook whenever somebody posts my videos. There you have this Jack Lilly, anonymous account stalking every video I'm doing that's been posted by somebody else. You have that. And people get sidetracked and distracted. And under my video, they are arguing about something that has nothing to do with the case. We don't do this here. And I want to ensure that my membership section will be for those who truly want to learn. That means I don't need to bore you. I don't want to bore you if you want quick answers. Of course, quick answers is not what we're looking for, but if that is what you expect, based on that's what's been promised from, whatever you listen to, even Netflix, even whatever there is out there, guess what? I am going to systematically move on step by step to make sure nothing gets missed. So I'm happy to see now people are starting to also watch my older videos, because they are able to get an idea. The ones that go more into detail, and by the way, I've mentioned him before. His name is Stephen Pagano. If you want to learn about anonymous author identification, it's not my favorite part. It's very tedious, but it is a very important part of statement analysis. I'm going to make a video introducing anonymous author identification, where we're going to be able to get, for example, a threatening letter. And we'll do such a good job analyzing it that when we show the profile of the person who wrote it to the person who received it, 95% of the time they'll be able to immediately point their fingers at the one person who fits everything to the T. An anonymous author identification, again, Stephen Pagano has a blog, and you're going to read a lot. If that's what you're into, you can just go Google Stephen Pagano blog, or he's also on Twitter. And he did the John Benet Ramsey ransom note. I already know what happened in the case of John Benet Ramsey, and I posted a video about it 4 months ago. You can look it up on my channel. And he is also going into, I forgot the name, but it's a guy. He's been sent a flashlight, which was a bomb actually that exploded when he turned it on. And with it, there was a letter attached to get him to trust the sender. I'm still in the middle of reading up on it. And again, that's Stephen Pagano's area of expertise. It's something that I am now changing, by the way. I'm going to make it more effective and simplify anonymous author identification in general, as it had been taught in the past, with PLAIDS, with plates, because my approach is foolproof. It doesn't mean not going to make mistakes. It can also happen when we get a date wrong, when we don't do our due diligence in terms of verifying anything, right? We can never get ahead of ourselves because that's the enemy of everything that I see a lot of people do. When somebody posts some on Facebook that may or may not be true, they just run with it. And then it gets a lot more tedious to fix it later, including the first impression to any situation is the most powerful one. Doesn't matter if it's about you meeting somebody or hearing about a case, but when a case gets introduced to you in the wrong manner, as it had been in the beginning with Sebastian Rogers. Now, be reminded, I started maybe a week or so after the case became, after he had been reported missing, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, but only little by little. I was not involved with it at all. But I couldn't stop listening to what I was hearing. And so, of course, I was getting interested in the details, but I realized later that I gotten a lot of things wrong, a lot of things. And in the end, we still have so many open questions. But the problem is when you have open questions and somebody is trying to fill them for you, and you can never allow anybody to do that. That is the biggest danger, that we're going to be able to maintain our autonomy, and the integrity of a case has to be impeccable. So you can never go ahead and say, guess what? I think this and that happened. What's your source? Well, some dude on Facebook, he claims that he knows these people and he saw. No, dude, we don't do this. We don't do this at all. So be aware of what you pay attention to, guys. Um, that's why I always say, if you send me something, please just, and it's your own thought, tell me what convinced you. Tell me what the smoking gun was. Tell me how all of a sudden it took place, that you were looking around, letting things come to you, analyzing, but all of a sudden something stood out to the point where you just, bam, that's it. That's it. And that's what I'm missing in regular statement analysis instructions, because they go too systematically by the book. And it means that you can have uh, a paragraph like this one, and you have 13 pages of analysis easily. Because when you have 3 or 4, it's normally, you will probably read a note such as, guess what, this is not complete. There's much more to get into. So guys, be aware of the fact that what we do is prioritizing. And I will teach you with my plate system that you're going to look for the priorities, the leakage, avoidances, intentions, deception, and sensitivities. Make a list of those, but do not force yourself to find something to put on that list. It's not going to be like you do on a school test where you say, okay, oh, geez, I need another leakage. I need another priority. Where is it? Oh, I guess this is the one. No, 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 no. There's no cheating in this, because you're not going to be ever an effective statement analyst if you approach this with any other goal than finding out what actually happened. Unless, that is often the case when analysts get hired by law enforcement, and they get paid a certain amount, and so they need to shut their brains off very often and just go sentence by sentence systematically. Meaning, if in one paragraph there's no leakage, it's just a general thing, they got to go through all of that. And we are able to let the significant parts come to us. And sometimes you can have a statement that is 1 or 2 pages long, but there are only 4 sentences that actually make a difference, and that make all the difference. So what I'm teaching you guys is plates, priorities, leakage also. um, Embedded confessions, embedded admissions also are a part of that. When I talk about avoidance, I talk about avoiding subjects as well as distancing language. I want to make sure that, to me, the approach from the past, where analysts were just saying, "Okay, I'm gonna complete a 7-page analysis, and I did my job. I'm gonna hand it to law enforcement, and then they, the detective, have to suffer through it. And who knows if they're going to read it or not? They're gonna be the ones that have to learn how to prioritize. Of course, once in a while, they would get a note attached to it where the analyst tells them in person what his opinion is. But I believe this needs to all stop. And if there's one thing I have learned in the past 10 years, it is how inefficient so many law enforcements operate. And if you think you are smarter than the police, you probably are. So don't let people who are not qualified to talk you out of it. Now, respect law enforcement at all times. I believe in respecting the channels of authority. I don't believe in any vigilantism. I don't believe in any of that. But I do believe in making a difference in the way that we're able to do it. And that is part of what motivates me to do what I'm doing. Back to the subject. Belinda Gray, the children's. Okay, she needs to really do what Sebastian Rogers' dad, I think, is doing now, but hadn't done for a while. So I like to see her moving there very, very early and saying, I don't care about what the rules are. You violated them, in my opinion. You are partially responsible for what's going on at this particular time. Why are we paying our taxes? Why are these types of agencies being funded? If all we see from them is them not being overwhelmed. I mean, ask more money from the federal government, whatever it takes, but you need to do your job. You cannot, you know, what good does it do to do any type of investigation if you just file it away? And that's what I talked about when it comes to statement analysts in general. What good is it when we have this mentality? Okay, I did my job now. Forget it. My ass is covered, and so on and so on. You see, there are certain areas, in my opinion, where we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. And criminal investigations is one of those. But anything to do with children, child courts. Even Judge Judy talked about it on her uh, Netflix appearance on Norm Macdonald Has a Show. Great way of her to telling us why there are so many bad decisions made in family courts. Anyways, that's beside the point. But we need to hold ourselves to a much higher standard, man. We cannot have a bunch of burnouts working in these important positions who, don't care at all. I mean, we need to have people who are dedicated and people who love what they're doing. And, do I have all the answers? No, I don't. Not when it comes to society. But what we need to keep on going with is our own drive, whatever we are passionate about, in order to be able to make a difference from our end. Not worry what other people are doing, just do what we know is right. People who will tell you you don't know anything, well, they're not. It's not. Anyways, it's not. I don't like whining. Anyways, whining, anything that has to do with whining, to me is no, no. And I'm cutting a lot of these whiners out of my life who you know, anyways, counterproductive. Mrs. Gray or Miss Gray? Mrs. Gray, who had limited contact with the children after their mother split up with her son, is concerned that there may have been warning signs that were overlooked before they went missing. Of course. Of course. And no, it wasn't her splitting. Well, eventually it led to this. The Globe and Mail has previously reported a child protection worker visited the children's home in Lansdowne, Nova Scotia in the months before the disappearance after concerns were raised by some at the school, but the findings of that investigation are shielded by private laws. Yeah. I think the public has a right to know. Absolutely, Miss Gray. Just what did CPS do? What part were they investigating? And by the way, how many times were they there? From what months to what? How often did they visit? What were their concerns and what were they doing? They might even have answers for the investigation on what happened to them or why it might have happened to them. And I need to also tell you guys the fact that Daniel cannot come up with anything better than Lily caused Jack to have black eyes, and then Lily got hit in the head by a truck. All of these garbage, stupidest excuses that you can possibly imagine. Guess what? I'm pretty sure that he had success with these excuses before. If it's possible he had them with actually the CPS workers. And I want to see Belinda really, you know, going after them. The children's stepfather, Daniel Martell, told the Globe in interviews in May that the child protection workers' visit was sparked by concerns about their learning disabilities. No, 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 not their well being. Last week, the Globe published a story in which Mr. Martell said a bruise on Jack's face, seen in a widely circulated photo, was caused by his sister. He did not respond to questions about another photo of Jack with a black eye on a class trip dated December 13, 2024. Okay, that was posted on his elementary school's Facebook page. The children's mother, Malaya Brooke Smurray, split from Mr. Martell soon after the kid's disappearance and has declined to comment. Okay, this is not the same style like the person before, right? This is not easy to read like the one before that was a pleasure to read. I keep it honest, I keep it real, I say it like it is. So maybe I'm going to look real quickly if there's anything of importance. I don't think this is the article I was looking for. Or is it? There are forthcomings in Nova Scotia's child protection system in July. This is not interesting. I'd like to know what the school has stated. Okay, so this is not what I was hoping it would be. I hope there's going to be a lot more. But Belinda is the one who pointed this out, and the reason she pointed this out, of course, is because that's what she is the most involved in and will be the most involved in. And I think she has a right to know a lot more. And I hope she's going to get it, and I hope we're going to be able to solve the case alongside with her. I'm Mike the Man, and I see you very soon.